Oh, low-budget kids' Halloween movies. How quirky, corny, and sometimes plain weird you all were.
Man, they just don't make Halloween kids movies like they used to.
I haven't seen you this happy since they discovered scurvy.
Those older ones, man, there was just something so genuine about them. No need for plot consistency or motivations that made sense. So long as it was a wild ride, we were all down. And one of the more ambitious of these low-budget movies was Halloweentown, released in 1998 on the Disney Channel.
But yeah, no joke, this was one of my favorite Halloween movies of all time growing up.
Originally, it was going to be a much darker movie for NBC, but the network passed on it and the script was eventually reworked into a kids' movie. They were originally given a $20 to $30 million budget before it was slashed to $4 million. Yet despite this setback, the director and the crew really leaned into the project, filming it in just 24 days.
Hi there. Must not be a morning person.
It was filmed in St. Helens, Oregon, and they actually got to keep the town square pumpkin along with putting on a month-long Spirit of Halloweentown celebration, transforming the town back into Halloweentown, complete with characters from the movie. It attracts thousands of people every single year. That is how beloved this movie franchise is. I want to live there so bad.
And I do not mean St. Helens, though it does look like a beautiful place, and one day I do want to visit during the celebration.
I meant the real Halloweentown with witches and goblins and pixies and other mythological creatures. It just seems way more fun than here.
The movie opens on a suburban neighborhood on Halloween with the streets littered with the craziest amount of trick-or-treaters I've ever seen.
Well, this is bullshit. I love decorating for Halloween, and I barely get any trick-or-treaters where I am. Definitely need a place with a porch. Maybe someplace more rural.
Well, not everybody engages in Halloween, and it's in this house where Sophie, our youngest main character, gazes outside longingly as trick-or-treaters actively avoid her home. That must make her feel real good about herself.
Forget that house. Let's go to the next one.
Look, I understand if there's like a religious reason as to why you don't celebrate a certain holiday, but that is not what is happening here. And when I explain it later, it is just gonna piss you off. Because it really pissed me off.
Look, Marnie, I am sorry, but you are not going out on Halloween.
Why?
I have my reasons.
And yes, that is April O'Neil from the first live-action TMNT movie.
I'm in love.
Marnie's friends try to help convince Gwen, but are kicked out and a fight ensues.
Face it, Mom. You don't trust your own kids.
That is not true.
Nope. As it turns out, Marnie's statement is 100% true.
April drags Sophie away from the window to get her washed up for dinner while Dylan, the stereotype 90s nerd character, trashes Halloween.
Guess which kid I like the least in this movie?
It gives little kids dumb ideas about there being magic. Give me a good nature documentary any day.
Oh yes, nature documentaries. Those documentaries that are famous for showing predators hunt, kill, and devour their prey. I'm watching you, you little Hannibal Lecter.
Halloween is cool. Plus, Mom and Dad met on Halloween.
First of all, hell yeah, Halloween is cool. And second of all, nope, that's not the reason they can't celebrate Halloween.
Shh, what are you trying to do? You know how talking about Dad always bums Mom out?
Does the death of their father not upset these kids? I mean, it couldn't have happened that long ago.
Look at the picture they just showed. His death could not possibly be longer than a year ago. Look at the kids.
It kind of seems like Gwen actively made her children feel bad for mentioning their father around her, which is super unhealthy for all parties involved. Talk to each other, it's how you heal.
The real villain of this movie is lack of communication, am I right? Meanwhile, in another part of town, a flying school bus that no one seems to notice floats above the ground, and oh look, it's Princess Leia's mother.
Wait, I'm literally quoting something Debbie Reynolds said.
While the movie was being filmed, Debbie introduced herself to the young cast as Princess Leia's mom because she didn't think the kids in the movie would know who she was otherwise. Well, we know her as Aggie Cromwell. She's a witch with an adorable sentient magic bag and is the grandmother to Marnie, Sophie, and Dylan.
No.
I want the cookie.
Ken.
Okay, time out. How? How did Gwen keep these powers from these children for this long? She wasn't around them for 24 hours a day. She would have to eventually go to work. The kids would eventually have to go to school.
All of these kids we find out are magically inclined. You're telling me when Sophie or the other two threw tantrums as toddlers, things didn't go flying off the shelves? Shit like that is kind of hard to hide.
Hey, Mom, do you think you and Grandma could, not fight for once?
Grandma Aggie's the one who always starts it.
It does not.
God, why did Disney continuously add these geek characters to their movies? They add nothing, and they're always the worst part of the movie. Well, I guess Disney wasn't the only culprit here. It was like most 90s kids' movies.
I'd love to have you move back home, Gwen. I mean, there's plenty of room for all of you at my house.
I like being here. I can have a normal life here. They can have a normal life here.
Oh,
I'm not going to get into this quite yet. Trust me, there's a rant coming. But Gwen was born and raised as a witch in her hometown, Halloweentown. Magic and all the denizens that live in Halloweentown should be normal to her, not the human world. That should be abnormal to her, not where she came from. I can understand if she was treated poorly by the people of Halloweentown or her mother, but by all accounts of what we see, everybody there is perfectly lovely. Well, almost everybody.
After dinner, the kids wash up and Aggie reads a story about a magical place called Halloweentown.
There's nothing special about me.
you're a Cromwell. And since the dawn of time, the Cromwells have been the
Mother.
most powerful.
I'm going to put Dylan to bed, and then I will meet you down in the kitchen in 1 minute.
Put him to bed, he's like 12. You're telling me little Ed Kemper here can't put himself to bed? All right, I'll stop.
Downstairs, Gwen lays into Aggie for almost spilling the secret of their lineage.
Are you on the verge of breaking a tradition that goes back more than 1,000 years?
Your tradition, Mother, not mine.
Cool, you can do that. Feel free to opt out of tradition. But you know what? Maybe give that option to your children because we've already seen at least one of them have magic powers.
But because she married a non-magical human, Gwen decided to pull that ladder up behind her and let her children's magic powers go away. Forever!
This isn't even a case of like Little Mermaid 2's plot where there's a threat in Halloweentown and she's hiding her children in the human world to protect them.
It's actually, I come from a long line of witches who all have magic powers, but I've made the decision for my children to deprive them of the coolest fucking talent they will ever have, all because I think being quote-unquote normal is somehow superior, even though it absolutely really is not.
Oh, being normal is vastly overrated.
If I found out that I missed the chance to become Kiki at 13, I would pull a James Sunderland on my mother while she slept.
I could have been the Scarlet Witch, you whore!
Seems like a fair exchange. My powers, your life.
Marnie sneaks down to eavesdrop only to hear the truth about the family being witches and witnesses her grandmother turn fried chicken into a live one.
Well, that's really weird and awkward. Wouldn't it like be missing pieces or have extra pieces of other chickens like a Frankenstein monster? Franken chicken monster?
As much as I think you're making a terrible mistake with Barney, you're wrong about why I came here tonight. I came to ask for your help.
My help.
Aggie explains to Gwen that she's been noticing neighbors who were once kind become hateful and unlike themselves before vanishing altogether.
And Gwen is super dismissive about this.
Oh, please, Mother, my neighbors disappear sometimes too. It's called moving.
Oh, totally. I know when my neighbors are about to move, they completely change their characters in rude and violent ways before disappearing without a trace. Great point, Gwen.
Oh, Gwendolyn, I'm quite serious about this, and I fear my powers alone may not be enough to stop it. I need you.
Mother.
Was Aggie known for making shit up when Gwen was a kid? She doesn't seem all that worried that her mother could be potentially murdered by whatever's going on in Halloweentown.
While that's happening, Marnie sneaks back upstairs to tell Dylan everything she overheard, and unsurprisingly, he's incredulous to the whole thing. I know Sophie is young, but out of the two kids, I probably would have woken her up rather than Dylan because she seems like she'd be more willing to believe and help me.
Haven't you ever wondered why we pretend Halloween doesn't exist? Or why stuff seems to fall off the shelves whenever Sophie has a tantrum?
No.
Oh, so they have noticed weird stuff has been happening in their house. They just didn't think to bring it up until now. Aggie storms out of the house after Gwen refuses to help with the kidnappings in Halloweentown, while Marnie quickly changes to chase after her.
Where'd that bus come from?
The bus stop is on the corner of the road.
Maybe it fucking drove there, Dylan! Aggie gets on the magic school bus. Well, I mean, it's what it is. While the kids sneak on board through the back door before it blasts through the Doctor Who credits.
I race a demon from the underworld, and they say, big deal, I saw the same thing on Jerry Springer.
Those people were already on the bus, implying that there are multiple bus stops. That must be quite the shift for the bus driver when we find out about the realm's time differences. Nobody finds it odd that these two kids in the back of the bus are screaming bloody murder as it descends, and I guess Aggie just doesn't hear that? The two disembark and realize that 1, Halloweentown is real, 2, they lost track of Aggie, and 3, Sophie managed to follow them there. I get that this is a kids movie, and in kids movies, logic tends to go right out the window, but how did Sophie manage to do this? This has bothered me since I was a kid. Aggie is in the front of the bus, then Dylan and Marnie get in through the back. Dylan closes the door behind him and the bus immediately takes off. How did Sophie sneak on board without Aggie, Marnie, or Dylan seeing her until now?
Hello there. I don't believe we've met. And that means I'm in trouble, because the mayor's supposed to know everybody.
Oh, is it common that the mayor knows every single person that lives in the town? Or is this just an excuse you use to approach children without a guardian around, Calabar?
I can't hear you. I seem to have a huge lollipop in my ear.
No thanks.
Ugh, smart move. It's not even in a wrapper. Somebody get this kid some mace.
We're Aggie Cromwell's grandkids.
Does that mean... Are you Gwen's kids? Is she here with you?
Oh, I'm starting to realize the real reason Gwen left Halloweentown. She was being stalked by the creepy mayor.
See, we came with our grandma and we kind of lost her in the crowd getting off the bus.
I'll get Benny to run you up there.
Howdy, Mayor. What's the rush? I'm on my lunch hour.
He's a smart-ass cab driver that tells dad jokes, and that is just perfect.
It's not polite to stare. Let's talk about how legal it is to drive with no eyeballs.
Chill, Dill. He's got his puppeteer to help him steer. The kids and Benny chat for a bit before he warns them not to wander around the town alone, then points out one kid to talk shit about.
Who is he?
He's just a local punk.
He's a teenage boy, Benny. A lot of them are assholes at this age. It just kind of comes with the territory of puberty. Benny drops the kids off at Aggie's house, finding the gate locked. Marnie sees this as an opportunity to try out her powers, only to fail, which leads to another bickering session between Marnie and Dylan. Siblings fighting constantly is a great thing to have in your movie. Wait, Aggie had her gate locked from the outside, but she's in the house.
Sophie, how did you do that?
I pushed. Plus, I wish the lock would turn into a frog.
Kind of weird they don't question where the lock went, but then again, they didn't seem to question why earthquakes happen every time Sophie had a temper tantrum, so...
You see, time works differently in Halloweentown. 2 hours there might be 2 days here, or 2 weeks if we're on vacation.
Oh, well, that's convenient. Aggie shows the kids what she's up against, then shows them Merlin's wand. The key to defeating the bad thing, as Sophie refers to it.
I know you think. That's what I get for trying to use instant.
Meanwhile, Gwen discovers her children are missing, then Aggie and the kids go into town to collect ingredients for the witch's brew needed to power Merlin's wand. You know, Aggie said earlier in the movie that she tried to warn people that she saw something sinister happening to the people of Halloweentown, and nobody listened to her. Nobody thought it was weird characters who were once happy and bubbly suddenly looking and sounding like they're about to call the cops on kids skateboarding nowhere near her.
I think I have an extra sundae.
Am I the only one that is creeped out that this adult man is trying to feed the youngest Cromwell food from his body? Yes, the sundae came from his pocket, but that's not any less weird. So despite claiming earlier she wanted to lie low, Aggie immediately tells her suspicions to Calabar, who is absolutely totally the bad guy.
Can I get one, please? Please, Grandma, please?
Yes, well, it is the rite of passage for witches your age.
God, you have no idea how badly I wanted to fly as a kid, whether it be with a broom or like Superman. Gotta admit, little jealous of Marnie here.
How sweet. Buying little Marley here her first broom, huh?
It's Marnie.
Oh, beat it, Mason Reese.
Hey, don't sell me too short there, Grammy. I'm something of a big cheese around here.
Marnie tells Luke to fuck off, but in, like, the most Disney language ever.
I smelled something stinky. It must have been the big cheese.
And the broom salesman calls Luke a wiener, which is just fantastic.
That Luke dude, he's turned into such a wiener.
Aggie buys Marnie her first broom and takes her on her very first green screen flight.
I don't think so.
Oh, I guess the kids didn't need to do that whole sneaking on the bus shenanigans when they could have just waited for 5 minutes for the next bus. Gwen is justifiably upset thinking her mother kidnapped the children, but the kids quickly defend their grandma.
You are not a witch.
Oh, yes, I am. No thanks to you. You're gonna let my powers go away forever.
Look, movie. I understand that the movie needs a plot point, and I get where Gwen is coming from to a point. But this plot point is ridiculous because Gwen's sole reasoning is just plain selfishness. At no point in the movie is it revealed that Gwen is protecting these children from some great evil she's aware of that no one else knows about, or that Aggie and or the people of Halloweentown were horrible to her, so she fled to the human world to protect herself. She claims there's more to the story than Marnie understands, but never, ever elaborates on this. What actually happened was Gwen fell in love with a mortal human, decided that was better than her roots for whatever reason, treats her mother and the people of Halloweentown like shit and beneath her, and actively keeps her children from learning magic, a thing that Gwen fucking has. If she didn't have magic or fled before she gained the power, then I'd be more lenient on this character, but she does. She has something she had no issues with having until she got dicked down by a human and then decided for her children that because she doesn't want it, then that means her children shouldn't have it. I'm sorry, I love this actress, but I hate this character and her non-motivation to destroy a wonderful gift these children have. Marnie demands she stays for her training to become a witch, with Aggie backing her up, but Gwen pulls the ultimate spell that renders every child powerless.
You put that broom down right now, young lady. You are grounded.
Marnie, honey, if there was ever a time to tell an overbearing parent to go fuck themselves and then go hide in the woods or somewhere else until the clock runs out, it is right now.
I'm never talking to you again, you know.
My life miserable.
You're talking to her now, Marnie. You're doing it wrong. It goes like this. Sophie, tell Mom I'm no longer speaking to her directly. Like, you're a teenage girl. You should know how to be passive-aggressive by now.
What about the bus?
It'll be several hours, yes.
I guess we can't leave after all.
Hey, the mayor seems like a nice guy. Maybe he can help.
You get the feeling that Dylan is going to grow up to be the office snitch. Nobody likes an ass kisser, Dylan. Gwen drags the kids to the mayor's office and is delighted to see her old flame Calabar, whose erection for Gwen can be seen from space. I mean, it is April O'Neil. Gwen asks Calabar for a favor regarding getting back home, but unfortunately he's pulled away by urgent business, while Aggie is accosted by Luke the Wiener.
I know you've got Merlin's talisman, and he wants it.
Why is he hiding? Why doesn't he reveal himself?
He wants to reveal himself to you.
Aggie says bet and follows Luke to totally not a trap. Meanwhile, Gwen and Marnie are still fucking fighting.
Because this is not your world. Your father was human, and that is the world that we live in.
That is her only reasoning. Your dad is human, so I have already decided how your life is going to go. Like, this is ludicrous. If Marnie wanted to learn magic and down the road she's like, not for me, which, come on, you know, that'd never happen. But if it did, she could just stop using her powers like Gwen did. But if she loses them, they're gone forever. She can never get them back. Sophie sees Aggie being led away by the wiener boy, and she totally calls him a wiener too, which is awesome.
Grandma's going somewhere with the wiener dude.
Luke takes Aggie to the closed theater where all the villain's victims are kept, including Harriet, when our antagonist appears, a creature who has no indoor voice.
1 by 1.
2 by 2 and 3 by 3.
Will you shut up?
God, everybody in this town hates this kid. No wonder he's such a little shit. The villain attacks Aggie, which surprises Luke. What did he think was gonna happen when he secretly lured Aggie to the villain's lair containing the other victims? Some tea? Card game? Maybe this town hates this kid for a reason. So, that guy's dead, right? Even Calabar seems caught off guard. Oops, did I give away the twist?
Mother? Grandma?
Get them!
Oh sure, why don't I, a single 13-year-old boy, try to wrangle an adult woman, another 13-year-old, and 2 kids by myself? Why not take over the bodies he has just hanging out and create an army instead of relying on a middle schooler? Calabar throws a projectile at Aggie, but Gwen pushes her out of the way, taking the hit for her, which is in vain because Aggie doesn't attempt to escape and gets shocked into a vegetable right next to her daughter.
Come on!
Oh my god, he's so dramatic. And granted, he's been in a dark movie theater for hours, but the dude is acting like light literally hurts him, and this plot point makes no sense.
It isn't gonna follow us. Didn't you see it can't stand the light?
Where is that? Oh, yes, here. Let me just put that pin right here, and we'll come back to that. The kids realize that they're the only ones that can stop the light-shy villain, and in order to do so, they need to go commit misdemeanors to collect the ingredients for Aggie's witch's brew. This includes getting Wolf's hair by nearly burning down the owner's salon and assaulting him.
I use one of these all the time, okay?
By the way, Kimberly Brown, the actress who plays Marnie, said that was real fire that her 13-year-old self was wielding. They also commit a hate crime and steal a drop of ghost sweat, which raises a lot of questions about why a ghost has sweat glands, then commits theft by stealing a vampire's tooth from a dentist's office. Damn hooligans collecting charges like Pokemon cards. My god, the kids these days. On the way out of the dentist's office, Benny the cab driver makes another appearance, offering the kids a ride, but something feels off about Benny today.
Get in! I gotta go.
Maybe if you're gonna trick the kids to get into your cab, you put up the act longer than 3 seconds, Benny. I guess that it's not that Calabar is relying on a single teenager to do his bidding because he's an idiot. It's that this teenager is the only competent one in this whole town who actually helped him get as far as he has. Benny tries to drag Dylan into the car, but because he's a literal puppet with no muscles or legs, he's chased away by a dog Sophie sicks on him. And by Sophie, I mean the dog's handler. Seriously though, this would have been so easy to cut out. Once the kids make it back to Aggie's house, they make the witch's brew, but are now stuck since they don't know the spell Aggie used to turn it on. You would think if Calabar was so hell-bent on getting these kids, he would either send somebody to go fetch them or go himself, but that's cheating because Aggie's house is base.
Fatima. Beiti gefir, beiti gie, lidit freedom, north bid.
No joke, this chant just randomly pops in my head throughout the entire year. Beiti gefir, beiti gien. It's just kind of fun to say. Marnie and Sophie chant to activate the wand because what's better than one witch? 2 witches.
I did it! We did it! We're witches!
Marnie, with her grandma's cloak, the wand, and her siblings in tow, return to the theater in hopes of breaking the curse on their monarch, only to find it doesn't work that way, and there's only one way to actually break their curse.
Well, when it's dark on Halloween, where do you put the candle?
Which is a bit of a stretch, but again, 90s kids movie. The 3 make it to the pumpkins sitting in town square, and no one thinks that's a bit odd, huh? I swear this town has the most aloof, unaware residents I have ever seen. All this blatantly weird shit is happening all around them, and only Aggie noticed.
Marnie, wait, it's a trap. He's waiting for you.
While the 2 argue, the villainous villain darkens the sky. Notice that it's still very much light out, and appears to the town folk, who look more confused at the scarecrow-looking dude yelling incoherently at them at the top of town hall. You think this kind of shit happens a lot in Halloweentown?
It's 8 o'clock!
I guess it makes sense that they wouldn't be scared of him. He's just like another monster like they are. Well, I'm not 100% sure what some of these people are supposed to be. I guess this kid is supposed to be a genie, and wait, that guy is just a guy. Oh, hey, look, it's Elsa. And is that Pizzazz from Gem and the Holograms?
Your moment of destiny has arrived!
Yeah, that's about the reaction I expected from this crowd. I'm really surprised half of them didn't just leave right there. Just like, I don't have time. I don't have time. The post office closes soon. I don't have time for this.
To return to our days of glory! To end this exile!
Forced? Gwen lives in the human world, and Luke is direct evidence that you can use magic to alter your appearance if you want to blend in with the humans. Granted, it's not ideal, but he's acting like they're trapped there, which isn't the case.
To reveal ourselves as we really are!
Okay, let me just take that
pin back out.
He can't stand the light. He can't stand the light.
Luke begs Marnie to let him help since he knows he made a mistake, while Calabar, no shit, just continues on and on with this villain monologue.
We will reclaim the mortal world with...
Jesus, he's still going. Dude, sum up! I got lunch with Nessie in 20 minutes!
Oh, young Cromwell. You thought you could hide from me?
Were they even hiding? They were wandering around the town without disguises, collecting ingredients for the witch's brew, and even made a scene in 2 different public areas. Then they went to Aggie's house, something Calabar would have known because they told possessed Benny where they were headed.
Fooled ya.
No!
Oh, I guess that was just an annoyance blast, not a kill her blast.
Calabar wasn't expecting Marnie to have the power of believing in herself, and she drops the wand right in the wand slot, which breaks the curse of everyone stuck in the theater. Except this dude. This dude is dead as shit.
Why, Calabar?
You could have had me, the most powerful warlock of all.
Oh my god. His entire motivation is because a girl rejected him 13 years ago.
If Gwen knew this dude was that obsessed with her, it would have been a much better reason for her to cut ties with Halloweentown. It makes even less sense when you find out in the sequel he has a kid.
Great to know that obsessed creepy stalkers are even a problem in Halloweentown.
Calabar snatches the wand from inside the pumpkin, Aggie and Gwen start fighting him with Chance. It's revealed Dylan also has powers, and the Cromwell family defeat Calabar using the power of family love. And magic. That too. And I guess the townfolk were just hanging out watching this all go down.
Kinda feel like they would have been motivated to help considering this would have affected them all.
But they failed to notice people in their town changing wildly, then vanishing, and a giant pumpkin smoking in the middle of town, so why would they do anything to avoid their fate? Hell, some of the people seemed down with Calabar's plan, but that's completely ignored.
You were right. There was a lot about Halloweentown that I didn't understand.
Do not try to pretend like that was her motivation. We know what her motivation was, and she was very clear about that movie.
That stuff coming out of my fingertips was probably just static electricity. Or maybe the Aurora Borealis.
Aurora Borealis. At this time of year, at this time of day, in this part of the country, localized entirely within your
fingers.
Yes. May I see it?
No.
This is the real you?
Want to know the worst part? I wasn't even under a spell or anything. He made me handsome.
Hey man, it could have been way worse. All you did was get involved with a stupid, convoluted scheme. You could have ended up as a dork who couldn't get over his ex after 13 years.
And that's Halloweentown.
It's corny, silly, and motives of some characters are questionable, but it's also fun, memorable, and is deeply loved by its crew and fans, myself included. You can tell everybody really believed in the movie and wanted to make it a classic.
Oh, being normal is vastly overrated.
Debbie Reynolds was wonderful as Grandma Aggie. She brought a warmth and charm to the role and is deeply missed. Judith Hoag is wonderful in every role she does, and while I don't really care for her character in this movie, Gwen mellows out in the sequel, and by the end of the series, I really do like her. The kids were all great in their roles, but only Kimberly Brown, the actress who plays Marnie, continued with her acting career and has fully embraced her connection to Halloweentown, even opening up a cute little Etsy shop themed after the movie. I'm not saying it needs a remake or I even want one, but if they ever did remake Halloweentown, I would love to see Judith Hoag and Kimberly Brown return, only with slightly different roles. It would be interesting to see Kimberly Brown play as Gwen, and while Judith Hoag is a bit young for the character, I'd still love to see what she could do with Aggie.
I hope you have a wonderful October and even better Halloween, and I'll see you in November.
After the